My name is Leo Weinberger. I want to thank you for having this. I want to thank you guys for having the trip to Albany a couple of weeks ago, which I went on. I'd like to thank you for being on New York One and the Dominican fellow over there for being on New York One. I watched you both. A lot of what you had to say, I believe in, and you're going to hear a little bit about that now. So, um, no, you made great points. You know, this and this is not getting heard. We're losing our democracy. Okay, I think we don't. I think the two major parties don't want us to vote. I'm new to this, okay? And when I read the legislations that we were up there in Albany about, the Voter Empowerment Act and the other two, I'm realizing, oh my God, we're right at the beginning here. If we don't have ballots that we can read, if we have to register over a year in advance to an election and all that, and if the simple vanilla stuff we haven't gotten to yet, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. Okay. So I show up. I'm an independent since 1992 because since then I basically thought both major parties are two sides of the same coin. Okay, I still get to vote for third-party candidates, so I'm fine with that. I show up at PS 41, 116 West 11th Street, and I say, I'm an independent. Bernie Sanders is an independent. Why can't I vote for him? My taxes go to funding this whole voting system that we have here. What's going on? A kind person said, here, we can give you an affidavit ballot. And I was stunned. An affidavit ballot, never saw that before. Oh yes, there's this federal lawsuit going on today, and it's possible that your vote may count. That's what I was told. Okay, as an independent on a Democratic primary day, right? But I, of course, started to fill it out, and I realized this is very small type, and I'm reading the instructions, and I realized, wait, about the sixth line down, it says, you have to vote for 6 delegates on this ballot, tiny, tiny print. And I'm imagining all these people in the room and, of all ages, all backgrounds, how are they going to know that if they don't pick just 6 on there out of all the names on there, their whole ballot's invalid, if I'm not mistaken, right? Okay. Not true?
Not true.
No,
I'm saying if you vote for more than 6.
More than 6.
you can't.
There's no
Well,
space.
okay, but if you're doing an affidavit ballot, you can. Anyway,
Oh.
so I don't want to dwell on that, but the instructions, but one of our bills here addresses that.
Yeah.
So then I go campaign for my candidate and I start telling people they accepted my ballot and all that, texting, twittering all over the place because all these independents were one of the 3 million or 27% of the electorate in New York State that were blocked out of that primary, okay? They started twittering and going crazy, get your ballots in, there's still time today, go to your polling station anyway. Some got them in, some didn't get them in. Very inconsistent, by the way. You need to know all this, you guys, right? Extremely inconsistent. I don't know whether mine will ever count. I think that lawsuit is still pending. They're still taking in discovery.
No, they
No.
lost the lawsuit.
Well, that day
Yeah,
that day they
they-
did not get the TRO, but
The Supreme Court has ruled twice that closed primaries are permissible. So-
I think there are
yes.
additional challenges
So there might
being
be
made,
additional
and I am a
challenge, but-
fellow independent, and I agree with you that the
Right.
taxpayer funding of a closed partisan primary is highly questionable because it's exclusive rather than inclusive. So I agree with you.
as Ronald Reagan said, I paid for this microphone. You know what I mean? Come on, let's keep it simple.
Lou, do you have anything else? Because your time.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going on and on. Quickly, in Albany, we had the press conference. 6 Democrats showed up to our press conference. Where were the other Democrats? I was the only person that asked a question, if you remember. There were lots of press there, and I asked a simple question. What other Democrats are not co-sponsoring or supporting these bills? I heard silence from the 6 of them. Then I pulled my state, the only representative I had there, Mr. Hoylman. Privately, he wouldn't tell me either. Okay. Apparently, you have new co-sponsors now since that day, right?
Yes.
You said there are. I'd like to
Thank
see that list eventually. Maybe my assembly person, Deborah
Talk
Glick,
to our
finally.
Press person in the back, and he will give you.
Great,
the
thank
list.
you.
You could also go to the legislative websites and type in the bill
bill
number,
number.
and it'll tell you who the sponsors are of the legislation.
Great. Okay. Well, I know. Okay.
And do you have anything else?
I know you've got a lot of
I'd
people.
like to- I'd
I'm
like to
sorry.
move- I'd like
Just
to
my
give everybody
experience.
else an
My
opportunity.
experience that day. We were assigned to 3
Hmm.
public officials. The Democrat wasn't there. The Republican had his chief of staff there who didn't know anything about the legislation at all, pled as though he didn't know anything about the legislation. And the only person I actually got to speak to is Jack Martins from Nassau County, who said that shortening the time period, which is really my primary reason for being here, let's shorten that from over a year to the 10 days, which the Voter Empower Magda. I mean, that has something close to that has to happen, or else this is a joke.
Yes.
This whole, as I started out by saying. So, but my experience that day with being assigned to 3 officials was ridiculous. Also, they weren't interested at all in what we were there for. They knew well in advance we were going to show up, yet we got virtually nothing in the way of a response from them. And it was the Democrat who didn't even show up from Southeast Queens. I know we can't go on,
Great,
but
thank you very much.
But thank you, thank you.
Appreciate your efforts on this, Kath. And, it's no surprise that we are, 46th to 49th out of 50 states every election season in participation. It's no surprise.
And you're right to say that some elected officials don't feel they have an interest in high voter turnout.
Yep. In either party. Great. Thank you.